welcome to Adventure Log. Today we're looking at my painting The Kingdom of Sieges, and how I made it. Let's dive in. So, I really wanted to challenge myself with this piece and try to keep things relatively quick and loose. I've been really trying to practice more landscapes and scenes and make it kind of more in line with what I hope for when it comes to those styles of paintings. So I tried to challenge myself by keeping a concept and sticking to a painting, trying to keep it under like 5 hours. Just kind of going as fast as possible and keeping it loose. So I did like a quick rough sketch. I wanted this giant statue or face of a statue laying there and this wizard just kind of wandering through this forest and discovering these things as they kind of weave through the overgrown pathways. So that was kind of what I ran with and decided to keep going with. I started blocking in just like loose lines for trees and the stone face, just to kind of get a loose sketch of what loose sketch down on the page. Started blocking in some leaves and stuff. I started with like a cool base coat and just started going on top of that and just kind of seeing where that led me. Adding in the deep shadows in the foreground to kind of draw the eye towards the center where the figure is going to be. I wanted the focal point to be the face and the figure and help illustrate the scale between the figure and the face, just to kind of show how large the statue is. So I made really deep shadows in the foreground, and I was going to have really light background and have that midground be like a stark contrast with like maybe light beaming through to kind of highlight it. I also wanted this forest to be really overgrown, really wild. So I tried to beef up that as much as I could and used a lot of nature studies that I had kind of lying around from pictures I've taken on like trails and stuff to try to just emulate that as best as I could. Right now I'm pretty much working with relatively cool colors. Even the greens have a lot of blue to them. I'm trying to make sure that like when I get into the finer details on the lighting that I'm going to try to have that stark contrast, that like the focal point is going to be very warm compared to the rest to help keep the eye in that center area when it comes time to focus on that. Also, when I paint, I feel like I have a pretty traditional approach to things. I don't use a ton of like overlays and lighting effects and stuff. So I try to add my warm in while I'm painting instead of adding the warm in on top of it as like an overlay. So I started painting in my warmer, lighter leaves in the section where I really want it. I don't know why I do this, honestly. I feel like there's no wrong method. I just feel more comfortable doing that. It feels very straightforward. I just got to look at it and paint instead of trying to mess with effects and adjustments and stuff. So I don't tend to do that a ton. I usually save that for the last phase, like the final touches of the painting. And I usually try to keep it pretty minimal. Now we're just kind of filling out that background, really making the woods feel very dense and lived in. Also started adding in details of the face. At some point I ended up having to get like some sort of reference. I can't remember when. It might have been right now. Like I was starting to think that the face looked a little flat. So I kind of did like a 3D model and like turned it to the side just so I kind of had a reference of the roundness and everything. And it helped, just kind of using that, like looking at that while I adjusted it. And also rotating the canvas helps too. So in the world that this takes place in, like, this statue is actually like a wandering castle. This region in the north in the world is called the Kingdom of Sieges, or the Siegedom of Tenna is like another name for it. And a lot of these castles during this blight called the Overgrowth got consumed by nature and taken down and destroyed and turned into ruins, seemingly overnight. So it's been kind of a focal point in a lot of my paintings, especially ones with this wizard, which you'll see later on. Even in her card art, it's in the background. In my head, the story is more like she kind of was sent to like investigate what happened. So she's kind of in that area a lot. Yeah, so we kind of are moving at a pretty good clip with this painting. I think overall this painting took me maybe like a little under 4 hours. So it was actually a lot faster than I thought. But yeah, we're already in the detailing phase, getting a lot of nice details in. And I'm really stoked on this piece overall, even at this point. Usually I get through like this ugly phase that makes me kind of doubt the painting, but then I kind of latch onto a detail and I get excited about it again, and it helps me kind of push through. But aside from a couple things where I was stuck on, like the eye and detailing in the face, like I was pretty pleased with everything overall, like from the jump. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this painting, and I was thrilled to still be happy with the end result when I was done. So I don't love painting buildings or cities a lot. So the closest I usually get is like ruins, something that is a little more flexible, doesn't have to be super rigid because it could just be destroyed. I feel like it's kind of my middle ground to kind of show that civilization was here or is here without having to like go full on and do a city. Like I'll do them, but they take me a lot longer, and kind of make an illustration take a lot longer too. Now we're kind of painting the wizard in. Again, she's a part of the focal point. The focal point's more just her scale compared to the statue, so I kept the details relatively minimal, especially since she's so small. The focus was more on capturing her scale and how like a sense of overwhelmingness to this exploring of this world I wanted to kind of capture in like her size differential and feeling like she's just wandering. We started really beefing up the shadows, trying to beef up that contrast a bit. Adding more branches, adding more density, really trying to hammer home like that nature and that overgrowth. Using still more nature references, nature studies, to try to really like sell like how leaves grow on trees, how branches work, etc. One critique I do have of this painting is I do think I could have pushed the overgrowth density a bit more on the statue face. Like I feel like I could have had it more covered. I'm still happy with it. I'm still pleased with how the whole painting came out, but I do think I tend to kind of shy away from really doing stuff like that, like purposely messing a thing up to like add that destruction kind of and like drama to it. It's something I still want to work on in pieces, but next time. once again adding more shadows, really making it deep and dark, helping increase that contrast a bit more. Yeah, we're just kind of doing our final details now, getting into the final phases of this painting, adding some highlights and stuff, just still building on the detail. You don't want to get too detailed everywhere because then you start to lose focus of where your eyes should be first. So the bulk of the fine details are in the center, but I still added a bunch in the leaves to kind of get some highlights and stuff. Added some more branches. Just really building that density. Adding some deeper shadows, adding some lights. I tried some like light streams and stuff. Didn't really seem to like it. It looks like I backed out of it. But I did still do like this cone of light. To counteract the shadow, I just kind of painted over. Again, I didn't use any overlays or anything like that. I just did like a light coat with opacity turned down of like a dark blue, and then like another light coat of like a light cream color to kind of make that light. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this piece turned out. It was nice to kind of test myself to keep things short and precise and stick with the prompt and just kind of keep going with it. It's really cool to like challenge yourself with these quick little pieces. I definitely want to do more of these in the future. And yeah, I really love doing nature studies and quick paintings and concept art. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to explore more. I hope you like how this piece turned out as much as I did. I really hope you learned something today. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and keep creating.